The Achievers Award brings lots of people together, not just for dinner, but to celebrate things that they've done, not just recently, but in some cases over decades. M&T began with the Achievers back in 2006. It just gets better and better. You keep seeing people come to the forefront, whether it's an Executive of the Year, a promising enterprise. These organizations just keep coming along. And in the years that I've been in the Capital Region, this is the best time because you're starting to see more people investing, more people getting involved, and you're starting to see massive change. How do you define excellence? I think you have to apply it to each individual, each organization. If you look at somebody like Hugh Johnson, somebody who's really good at what they do in terms of investing, but is able to articulate that, whether it's on CNBC or to a chamber breakfast, that's excellence to me. And if you look at a not-for-profit, excellence is not only having a great mission, but being able to execute on that mission. If you're a real estate developer, it's your ability to articulate a plan, actually execute on the plan, and transform communities. On behalf of M&T Bank and all of my colleagues, congratulations to all of this year's Achiever Award winners. Thank you so much for what you do to the community to make it a much better place.
I think that the individuals who are receiving the awards tonight represent a tenacity that is key to creating innovation for future businesses and future community members. We were really pleased to be part of the Achievers Award. We think that celebrating the achievements that different businesses have done is very, very important. In order to have those kinds of achievements, you have to be willing to take risks. And you have to be willing to innovate. And you have to be willing to be persistent about the ideas that you pursue, to be willing to take on challenges that are difficult. And so that deserves to be recognized. I think that the companies that are being recognized tonight have all, in their own way, pushed a boundary, been persistent about something that they know is right, that they know is relevant, and have been willing to stick with something for some period of time in their belief or their passion for the various missions that they have. And through doing that, they do make the community a better place. MVP bears connection to several of the awardees tonight. Of course, the Capital District Community Gardens is a major partner that we have supported in their efforts to help bring healthy food into the Capital Region and get more access for people. And our colleague, John Bennett, over at CDBR, whom we share a lot in common with, but whom we also greatly respect for his leadership of that company. On behalf of MVP Healthcare, congratulations to this year's Albany Business Review Achievers. Thank you for all that you've done.
Capital District Community Gardens, I think one of the best kept secrets in the Capital Region, is an organization that works in Albany, Rensselaer, Schenectady, and Saratoga counties and service about 175,000 people a year by delivering fresh produce through our 2 mobile markets and our Healthy Stores program. We also do a variety of education programs. We built our first Vegemobile and put it on the road in 2007. We put our second Vegemobile on the road, our Vegemobile Sprout, in 2011. Developed our Healthy Stores program where we have fresh food in local convenience stores, right in people's neighborhoods where they're already buying food often. And coupled that with nutrition education with those programs and also in our schools and with our young people teaching how to do what they already want to do, which is eat healthy food. I'm really fortunate that we have an extraordinary staff, an unbelievable board of directors that make all of these programs possible. We also are really fortunate that Sharon DiLorenzo, who was here when I joined the organization 18 years ago, is still with us. So this is a team effort, and you see it out in the community. I think our biggest challenge is not having an adequate facility. We've been distributing 350,000 pounds of produce a year out of a building that is not equipped for any kind of distribution. But our office space and our warehouse space is about to have a major turnaround because we are launching our Urban Grow Center in a matter of weeks. We're having our grand opening on December 3rd, and this has been a plan that's been 10 years in the making for us. And it's going to make a dramatic difference for our work, for the effort of bringing fresh food into the community, and for the farmers in our community. I hope, first and foremost, that people who are here today, that they'll learn something about Capital District Community Gardens. Not enough people know about the work that we're doing in the community, so I hope people will come out to the Grow Center and see what we are all about. You know, support us and volunteer in some way or another. On our board, on our committees, at one of our events, in one of our gardens, on the Vegemobile. It's really a great opportunity to connect with the community on all kinds of levels.
Technology is software that gets installed in existing companies' data centers that takes their servers and stitches them together into a big cloud-like environment for the developers to deploy custom applications. Fundamentally, cloud computing is the notion of consuming computer resources in an environment that is not physically located where you are at. So instead of running an application on your laptop, you're in fact telling a server somewhere to run an application for you, and it's sending you back the information that it calculates. So we have customers like JP Chase, huge banks, pharmaceutical companies in these industries where they need to operate custom software behind their firewall for a variety of reasons. We give them the tools that they need to be able to do that. I met my other two co-founders at a previous job that we held together, and we basically decided, hey, we could build our own software. As we started to do that, we realized there were all sorts of problems with the way that we were going to host that software in a cloud-like environment, that we decided, well, maybe we should focus on building those cloud-like environments, because if we're going to face those problems, then a lot of other companies are going to also. We're fortunate that we were already established as a venture-funded company, and that we have a technology that we always believed has a viable market. That happens to be being proved as we speak. Prenda is now 75 people, and our headquarters are here in Troy, New York. It's actually our brand new office that we moved into earlier this year. It's perfect for the high-tech work that we do. The reason that we've decided to stay in the capital region, really, there's a variety of reasons. One of the big ones, though, is very strong technical schools in the area, so that's been a huge help, especially earlier on when we really were focused on the development of the software. As we've branched off to build out other parts of the company, we've gone into local areas, but we've also branched out into places like Manhattan, Boston, and so on. And it's actually quite easy to bring people from those areas into this area because it offers a very interesting lifestyle that people are oftentimes looking for. So my biggest piece of advice to aspiring entrepreneurs, especially in the technology field, are that things change in the markets. Things change as far as technology faster than we can keep up with them. And so when you're starting a company, what you really want to do is focus on building a team that's going to make it through those changes with you.
My family moved here when I was 9 years old. I grew up in Schenectady. I went to the Schenectady City School District from middle school to high school. I stayed here, went to Siena College, software engineer was my major, and I wanted a job in technology. And I was fortunate to find an opportunity in Schenectady my sophomore year, and I started with that company as an intern. And then that led into opportunities for me to buy a couple shares at a time. I eventually bought 35% of the company, and then eventually bought 100% of the company and renamed it to TransFund. And so our product is predominantly a product that helps school districts map out the routes where kids live, determine if schools are expanding or shrinking, what's the best way to do that. And those type of things are evolving. As the first days we want to be efficient, be safe, and now it's communication. How do we pass information to everybody? The community is just as important as parents. You know, there's certain things that schools are doing today that everyone should know. And these are positive things. So how do we get that information out to the community? How do you pass this information to parents? And as today, parents want to be more informed. They want to know what's going on a day-to-day basis. Really, they want to use their smartphone to find out where's my kid right now. So our products are really evolving in a way that it's not just, it's a given. We have to now save them money. It's efficiency. But we want to go beyond that, and we're doing it. I really believe that you grow where you're planted. I was planted here. I was 9 years old. My family moved here. I was planted right here. So now it's time for me to grow. And it's been now almost a quarter of a century at this point that I've been trying to take this company, keep growing it. And I have really a big admiration to the area, the Capital District. There's so much going on. There's so many people that want to keep this area successful and keep it growing. You need to have people work together, but one has to be the leader. One has to take the responsibility to take on the challenges, of course. So it was my turn to be that one person. I wanted a space that people come here, they could think, they could grow, they could be creative. I always say about the next new idea is right here in the building. My job is to get it out of those people that have it. So it's creating an environment that helps collaboration between our employees and clients, and really our prospects and ourselves, is to really foster ideas. And every day is a big challenge. You can't think what you did 2 months ago is going to necessarily work 6 months from now. So you have to constantly keep reinventing ourselves. And in technology, that gives a whole other aspect of keeping up with everyone else.
Autotask really is the heartbeat of the IT industry. We provide a platform that allows our customers to deliver information technology services to their customers. And we are essentially the engine that allows our customers to deliver those services. So we're really the heartbeat of IT. There are certain geographies that have been well ahead of the curve for years, in the US to a degree, and the UK, but now some of the other European geographies, Germany, France, that were initially reluctant to outsource IT services, are moving much more along that sort of path right now, and the availability of certain technologies like cloud and remote monitoring and management to make it much more possible and cost effective to deliver those services in the way that customers would want them delivered. And I'm a real believer, if you want to build a good business, hire great people, which we have, you treat them with respect, and you give them freedom. It's just incredible what can be achieved. The Capital District has a lot of advantages in my opinion, and the key advantage is people. It's not just that they're talented and smart and hardworking. This is where people were born and lived and raised their families, so people tend to grind it out, work really hard, and because they care about the culture of the community, they care about the community. We're part of it, we make a difference. It's not a massive metropolis, it's Albany, New York, it's the Capital District. When I first came to the company, I really saw how much people really cared and just doing what they did every single day. My view is this isn't a job, this isn't a 9 to 5. Most people in the organisation see it as somewhat of a mission, viewing themselves as achieving something that's meaningful for them and the company moving forward. And that's really what we strive for. We reward performance, we encourage innovation, and that's the core to the culture. We make an incredible difference. We hear it again and again. 5,600 customers, every one of them has a story about the benefit that Autotask as a company brings in terms of our products and services, in terms of the return on investment. And we provide a platform for our customers that allows them to make good facts about running their business, and we live by that internally. So we start with really delighting our customers. It's the mission. If you want something else and you want to build a career, you want to be part of a meritocracy, Autotask is the place. People recognize that, and we try and have fun. Pressure is one thing, and there's pressure on all of us every day. And we try and keep the stress out of the organization, but having fun at the same time.
My family was all about education, and I went to St. Pius, CBA, and then when I wanted to go off on my own at the age of 18, my father told me I was going to RPI. So I went to RPI and I graduated in 1979 with a degree in civil engineering. My mother wanted me to become a state worker like my father had been for 30 years, and I decided to take a different career path. So my dad worked for Don LeDuc, doing different projects for him. So I went and interviewed with Don, and before I was out of the parking lot, Don stopped me and offered me a job. One of the conditions is that we become partners, and that's really when the development partnership really started and became. We started with projects that were $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. And then we started doing larger projects, 30, 40, $50 million range. To go say we're ahead of the curve. Sometimes we got lucky. Sometimes, like at 677, there was a vacant parking lot. Sat there. Everybody looked at it. We were driving down one day and we said, wouldn't that make a great place for an office building? Don and I looked at it. I wanted 9 stories. Don wanted 15. We decided on 12. True story. And when we looked at it, you said, if we put a premier building with a parking garage behind it, how can we miss? It was a great project. We changed the skyline in Albany, and we proved to people that we can compete with the suburbs downtown, and we can keep good companies from leaving downtown and the big exodus to the suburbs, which was happening for 20 years. We stopped it. And I think that that was just because we were driving by this vacant parking lot in front of a garage. Once you recognize that maybe people do want to do other things than live in the suburbs, they want to make this transformation and move back into the inner core. Well, you had to start looking at buildings. We have apartments, we have office buildings, we have a 202-room Renaissance Marriott hotel, connected to a convention center, and it all kind of works. When you wake up in the morning, you don't say, geez, I'm gonna have a successful day or I'm gonna have a bad day. You get up in the morning and you try your hardest to have a really good day, to have a positive day. What's the definition of successful? That our tenants are happy, our clients are happy, going forward and doing the project.
I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. Went to Dartmouth College and then Columbia Business School, United States Navy as a navigator on a ship for a little over 3 years, and then came back to Wall Street in New York City working for a family firm. And then in 1977, I left the family firm and joined First Albany. I was the chief investment officer and then started the asset management business in 1990. And then in 2005, we bought the asset management division from First Albany. It's just about as fascinating a business as you could possibly come. We talk a lot about financial markets, but it's about the economy. It's no longer just simply about the domestic economy or the U.S. economy. It's not that simple anymore. So you're talking about not only economic events, you're talking about geopolitical events. There are challenges to our natural resources, our environment. And so everybody kind of agrees that, well, yeah, capitalism is good, but there has to be some limits, some regulation to ensure that we don't have very vicious cycles as we had in 2008, where we try to close the gap between the haves and the have-nots. We take care of people, and also we don't do significant damage, as we may very well be doing, to our environment. So capitalism is the right way to go, but with limits or regulations. You might think that I'm just full of confidence. I'm not full of confidence. I know that I have to get up every day and I have to work real hard, and I think that just keeps me going. And is part of the reason for maybe my success and the success of our farm is you never take anything for granted. And we've been very successful, but at the time I wasn't at all confident we would be. You know, there are a lot of definitions. If you look up the word excellence and you try to come up with a definition of it that really makes a lot of sense. Trying to make yourself a little bit better every day, but I think really there's something more to it that I think a lot of definitions leave out. And I've noticed this in part of what I do in life is teach. I've taught at RPI, I've taught at Union, I still teach at Union, and it's to do something common in an uncommon way, in a way that's going to really benefit other people. Doing something very ordinary, doing it hopefully in an extraordinary way, and doing it in a way that really benefits other people or gives them that light up their lights moment in their life. And to me, that whole combination is what excellence is all about. Believe me, benefiting other people and the psychic feedback that it does for you is a wonderful feeling.
I ended up in this area because I decided I wanted to be a chemical engineer, and I thought about what I liked to do. And I liked chemistry and I liked math, so I put those things together and decided at the ripe old age of 15, and I found this school, RPI. I had no idea it was in this place called Troy, and I knew I wanted to get out of New York City because I just did not like living in the city, and that's how I came here. So it was to be an engineer. So it's a little different. It's not your path into medicine. And I'm not exactly sure how I ended up pre-med. I remember standing at the kitchen counter with my mother, telling her that I had to tell her something, and she looked at me like, oh my God, what's he going to tell me? And I said, well, I'm switching my major. I'm going to go to medical school. I've been pretty blessed, and I came from a very economically modest background. Growing up, I was younger than everybody else because they accelerated me because of my academic capabilities. And at that time, the baby boomers were all crowding the New York City schools, so they wanted to get you through fast, so if you were smart, they accelerated you to keep the classes down. I was small. I was incredibly skinny. I lived in a Brooklyn neighborhood, so I got picked on a lot. I remember one kid charged me $0.25 to cross the street to go to school every day. And then I ended up stuttering between about 3rd and 4th grade until basically I got into college. So that was a challenge. If they say that everything you are really happens by the time you're 5 or 6 years old, that's still who you are. So I'm still that little skinny kid in Brooklyn running around, and you kind of never forget that. I think I bring passion for the work that we do, and this commitment to the member, which to me is the essence of who CDPHP is. It's a commitment to these 450,000 people that I still view as taking care of them. Next 3 years is going to be on the payer side. It's going to be very volatile. We have a very difficult environment. We have a New York State regulation of rates. We have prior approval, so that rates are being kept artificially low. That's going to be a very difficult, volatile environment for payers. At the same time, it's going to be a very difficult, volatile environment for providers as they begin to be pushed towards pay for value. Providers have lived in a fee-for-service world forever, and government and payers are trying to move them into a pay-for-value world. And so there's going to be a lot of volatility and things that are going to be very hard to predict. We can make this area a model for the efficient, high-quality delivery of healthcare in a way that some other areas have a lot of problems because of their size or their complexity. As I reflect back from a professional standpoint on my career, I was just living every day. And to be successful every day, you got to be living every day. And I think, not that you don't plan for tomorrow, but what's the task we have to do today? And so I urge people to find what their passion is, and you'll never be sorry. And you'll be, I think, way more successful than you ever imagined.